And what is going on, YouTube? This is Mike Anderson of the 1% Solution and Living Motion Monograms. Welcome to the live stream today. And we're going to be having some fun. We're going to get a little 3D on you and give you guys some tips and tricks on how to do some 3D text in Photoshop. And we're going to actually do it in both Photoshop Elements. It's kind of a cheater way of doing it. And then I'm going to show you guys some of the more kind of advanced plugins that Photoshop CC has to offer. I know a lot of you guys have been talking with me and asking me, like, is it really worth getting? And if this is something you're interested in doing as far as 3D kind of text and artwork, you'll see it makes it ridiculously easy. So I appreciate you guys coming into joining us for the live stream today. And you caught me sending a little message out here. I did want to take a moment just in the beginning here. You guys may have noticed some new graphics on on our live stream today, and I also sent out some emails and stuff to people asking for help, just because about 24 hours ago, basically YouTube sent out an email to all of not all the channels, but basically majority of the YouTube channels. And the email basically just stated that, look, we know you guys are smaller channels, and we want to protect advertising dollars of what the larger channels are, getting and obtaining and stuff. And they took various steps. They implemented some new rules, and the new rules are, as of right now, are just going to basically completely demonetize the channel. And we're going to lose YouTube partnership. We're going to lose a lot of assistance that we get as a YouTube partner, as a verified YouTube partner. And basically said, and this will all happen. We're going to give you, let this be known as your 30-day notice. Honestly, I didn't know how to take it, because I know a lot of you guys know the work that goes into doing these tutorials and doing these videos for you guys. And it's not about the monetization. After the $10, a month that you get from doing this as a small channel is not the incentive I'm looking for. My incentive is, to help you guys out. And over the past, 24 hours, you guys stepped up. You absolutely made my week and stuff. And we went from just 500 to 575 subscribers raised it by about 75 subscribers in a single day. I know that we can do this. And basically the stipulations that they're putting forth is that you have to have minimum of 1,000 subscribers and a minimum of 4,000 hours watched of from not just subscribers, but from everybody. So if you haven't already, I know that it's nice to have these videos, online and stuff, and it's really easy to just go to the channel and see them whenever you want. If you haven't already, you've got a YouTube account, hit that subscribe button if you want to see this content continue. Because the problem is, like I said, it's not about the monetization. You end up losing a lot of support from YouTube. YouTube is only going to push videos that are that they can make money off of, and they kind of put you in a separate, area basically. And so the feeds and stuff are not going to show up as often or at all until you get reevaluated. Once you hit that goal, but you've lost all the support from them, so it makes it even more difficult. Once you hit that goal, then they'll evaluate your channel again. But we know how quickly YouTube acts on getting back to you, and they've kind of proven that very recently with demonetizing massive amounts of videos with certain with their new algorithm that shouldn't have been demonetized in the first place. And for the larger YouTubers who are doing this for a living, it hurts them huge. And by the time they said, oh yeah, you can dispute it, 4 to 6 weeks, we'll get back to you. And by the time they get back to you, that threshold's gone, and that video is just kind of more of a waste for them. So I'll tell you this, I'm going to fight tooth and nail. I'm going to do every live stream I possibly can. I'm going to do every video tutorial I possibly can in the next 28 days. And I'm going to fight and fight and fight to keep this channel going for you guys, because I know I've heard it. I've gotten emails, I've gotten messages, and it means a lot to me when you guys send me those helpful words of encouragement. So keep it up. Keep being rock stars in my book. You guys are amazing. And we'll keep pumping out the content for you. But today's content, I absolutely love, because it's more on that creative side. And some of this stuff, for those of you who know Photoshop and know the different aspects of it, some of it's just gonna kind of feel like redundant. Stick with me on that. But I do want to explain a few things on it, just to make sure that you guys who are brand new to Photoshop have a chance to follow along when you can. You can always come back to the video later. It'll be available on the channel. And if you haven't, if you're brand new to Photoshop, whether you're using Elements or you're using Photoshop CC, which could be in the subscription-based service that they offer, then I have tutorials on it's basically a walk around. It just kind of shows you what different things are and what they do, so that it's a little easier to find those when it comes time to make for you to start diving into the program to understand a little bit better. So let's jump right in. Gino, thanks so much for joining the live chat. If you guys do want to join the live chat and ask questions as we go through this, make sure you guys log into your YouTube account and stuff, and you'll see that live chat right then and there. So let's switch this over to our main screen here. And we're going to start off with Photoshop Elements. Photoshop Elements doesn't have a kind of a 3D plugin. And so when it comes to doing 3D text, we're going to use some trickery that I think is pretty darn easy. Who's knocking at the door? Brandon and Cammy are here in the office. They want to be a part of everything, I think. All right. So we're going to go ahead and let's go ahead and bring up our other screen here. All right. And we'll kick things off with our Photoshop Elements. So let's go ahead and we're going to open up a new, basically a blank file here. 1920 by 1080. We're going to work in pixels. That basically gives us, that's not our office. I think it's next door. Hopefully you guys can't hear that too much. Let me know if you can in the chat. It's annoying. But we always usually start with 1920 by 1080. That's our widescreen aspect ratio for designing monograms or anything to project. But if you're doing something for, print material and stuff, you can switch this over, to inches and do like 8.5 by 11 or whatever dimensions you want to go with. I always go with the higher resolution of 300 because you never know what you're going to end up using it for, whether it's for, publications or for just web use, because you can always make it smaller later. And we'll hit OK. So we've got our white background here. We usually work with a black background. So we've got our black background layer selected over here. If you guys don't see this over on the right side, your menu, down towards the bottom, you've got in Elements, you've got your layers, or you can click on these menus down in the lower right. And these will pop up here. So layers, effects, and styles, stuff we'll get into a little bit later. So you want to click on that layers, effects, have that pop up. Now on the left side of the screen here, we've got our color little picker here. So we can click on that and we're just going to go to black and we can select our paint bucket and it just splashes it on there. Now, one of the key things as far as I use for design work is our ruler here at the top. And if you don't see this, you can actually find this just by going to view at the top and just make sure rulers is selected. Once it is, it'll pop up. You can right click on that ruler and hit pixels. So if we want to go ahead and find that center point, we've got 960 by 540 here. So it just gives us, and these ruler lines don't actually show up in your work. So, but it gives us kind of a center point what we're working with. So our next thing is going to be, let's select our tool, or our text tool here on the left side. And we're going to go with, well, that seems interesting. Let's see what this is going to be. When you do select your text tool, your options are going to show up down here. We've got a black background, so let's go ahead and work in a very, very light gray here. I want it to show up really well. And then we can just click up here. We're going to have a big font, but... And yeah, we're going to change that because not a very clear font. Now, if you want to select the entire font, you can always come on over here and double click on your T icon over in your layers where text is. It's going to select it all. And we'll go find something else here. There we are. Oh. No, that's not what I want. All right, now I've got this. Basically, I selected the outline of this. And I'll show you guys how I did that in just a second. But I'm going to get my selector tool here. Just click on the deselect it. If you just want to select the text, one of the things you can do is basically come on over. Select your selection, your move tool off to the left side here. Deselect. And once you have your move tool, click on that and then hold down your control key and just click on, say, the layer that you want to select. And it's going to highlight and outline this. And a little cool trick for this is that if you wanted to, just take that part of the background out, then you can click on your background layer and oh, it looks like it's locked, so we can unlock it by clicking that. But once we have our background layer selected, we just hit delete. Doesn't look like anything has happened, except let's deselect that. And if we go to our text layer and hit the eye icon here, it eliminates it. And you guys can see that we've taken the actual just lettering right out of the background. And if you want to do like cutouts and stuff, this is a really easy way of being able to do that. So let me backspace a little bit here. And get rid of the selection here. Make sure that we just fill this in. Not what I wanted. And when all else fails, just get rid of it. And we can try it again. There we go. So we've got our black background. All right, and we'll bring up our text again. So we got live in motion here. First thing we want to do is let's go ahead and make sure we get the right size that we want. Make it a little bit bigger. And I'm going to show you guys two different things. So let's go with 2018. First, we're going to start off with text, and then I'm going to show you guys how to do kind of more of a 3D effect with logos. we'll center this up. So we've got our 2018 here. Now, by hitting Control T, that's our transform tool. That's going to go ahead and let us actually alter this text. And if you guys hit Control T, and as you come to this corner here, you hold down your Control key, you can actually adjust this per corner. So if you wanted something a lot more drastic, you can do that this way. If you are working with the text here and you're trying to make it look nice and clean, it may be smart to go up here to the ruler, click, and pull down maybe a guide. That way you can kind of see if it's staying straight. So we want to give this a little bit of a lean here. Hold down our Control key. Give us a slant. So we got our 2018 here. Next thing we're going to want to do is add some effects to this. So what we can do is if we've got our text box up here, we want to make sure that's selected. Now, if you come down here to the bottom right, you'll see effects. And so we got our effects, which are mainly with like photography and stuff, our filters. But what we want is styles. And then at the top, we can click on our drop-down box and make sure we got bevels selected there. And we're going to go with simple inner as our bevel. And you can kind of look at this, and this pretty much looks terrible here. That's okay. We just want it to be on the layer at this point. So we can come back to the layer by clicking our layers, and you'll notice a little FX appears just to the right of this. Now, if you double click that, this gives us our options of what we can do with this layer effect. And right now we're at 21 pixels. We're going to drop this down to 1. We just want it to be subtle. And see what other options. So we got 1 pixel here, and then angle of light. We're going to bring this almost, let's go with 60 on our light angle here. I typically I like to kind of angle the light source for this effect. You're not going to see it too much except when we duplicate this stuff. And kind of in line with the slant, a little bit more with the slant that we're doing. So we could do 60. We could always bring it over here a little bit more to like 130 as well. Let's try 130 here. And we're going to hit OK. Something else that I would like to add on here is going to be, we're going to take and do a they've got some really cool effects in here too. So if you wanted to create like a glassy effect, you've got instant chrome here, all kinds of stuff. That Elements has made things really, really easy. It's limited on some stuff, but they've made it pretty user simple. So if you want to make text look more like Chrome, you're able to do that. Let's see if we can, if it's going to allow us to. And we've got our gradient. All right, we got our, let's see if we can create it somewhere. And it may be under. Yeah, they're making this a little bit hard on here. All right. Okay. So once we, now I know what we're doing here. So we've got 2018. what we've done is we've added our bevel. Remember, we're just doing that at one point. And then the next step we're going to do is if you right click on the text layer itself, we can go ahead and do like simplify layer. And what it does is it's going to make it a shape. Keep in mind, this will make it to where you cannot change the text. So you want to make sure it's right. So you got the right year or the right names in there. But now that we have it as a object, then what we're able to do is come over and we're going to add a gradient effect to this. So once we click on our gradient effect on the left side here, we can, in the lower left, we can actually choose which effect that we end up wanting, foreground to background. And the way you control the gradient is that you see the color here. So we've got our black into our, I think this is our white. And what I want to do is take our, whoops, we're going to go click on our black layer, and I want to get this a little bit more gray. It ends up looking a lot better. And then our white we can leave there. And the way we want to activate this is just by clicking and dragging across our numbers here. Oh, I'm on the wrong layer. So one little step here. If you don't want it to cover the entire layer itself, then we're going to want to select our 2018 because this is just an object. And remember, the way you do that, hold down your control key and click on that layer. Once you have your move tool here selected on the left side, and it's going to highlight that. Now you can go ahead and select your gradient tool. Make sure your layer is selected. And as you drag it across, if we go, say, left to right, it gives us kind of that effect where it starts off with the gray and goes more towards the white. If we wanted to go diagonal, it gives us a little bit of a different effect. And the longer or shorter that you do this, the more different it's going to end up looking. So you can play around with that, and it'll reset every time you guys end up doing that. So if we do a really long stroke, it makes it a lot more dark there. And we can also maybe change the style. Do a little short one here. And do something a little bit consistent here. Level down a little bit. There we are. Let's give that a shot. We're going to go and get our selector tool on the top left, and just click on our work so that it deselects this. Now our next, excuse me. Our next step is going to be, we're going to go ahead and rasterize this one more time. We're going to simplify the layer. It's going to lock in that effect there. And actually, we can leave our effects here. Now I'm going to teach you guys a trick, basically. There is no like 3D enhancements that they do in Photoshop Elements, but the way we're going to cheat this is if you click on your text layer itself, and by holding down your Alt key, let's see. It's changed. That's going to let us move it. Keep forgetting to grab our move tool. So we do our move tool. And so once you grab your move tool, hold down your Alt key on that layer and make sure that layer is selected. And as you just hit the up arrow, what's happening is it's duplicating that layer. So it's a really fast way to just duplicate this layer. And so we got all of our layer styles that we have here. And we can kind of zoom in and see, what's happening here. We can also see that it looks kind of, this is more of like that carbon fiber digital effect. And so if you want it to be a little more shallow, we can just take some of those layers out. And also if you do want to, like, once you have the layers you want, you can also group these up, and you can just select those layers that you want. And the shortcut to that is just Control G on it. So it'll make it into one group, one folder, and all the layers will still be there. So we're going to take this. I'm going to, let's group this up. And if we double click on the group name, we can name it as just 2018 A. And what I want to do is we're going to try a different style here. So we're going to right click on our group and just duplicate group. We'll call this 2018 B and see if we can do some work on this one. Now let's go ahead and turn our A version off, and we can do that by just clicking the eye icon there. And then the little down arrow, we're going to open up our 2018 B, and I'm just going to delete all these layers except for that first one, because I want to play with the effects on this one. We double click this, we're at 1, and let's try and add a stroke to it. We'll do that pixels at 1, and we're going to go ahead and do a kind of a nice dark gray on it. And we'll do it on the outside. Hit OK. And just to see what it ends up doing. So we can do the same thing. Make sure we got our selection, our move tool selected. We come over here, click on our layer, hold down your Alt key, and start to duplicate it. So now, as you can see, by just doing a little dark gray outline, it smooths a lot of that up, and it gives us kind of a 3D effect with our text here. And again, we've already got these grouped up, so they're all in here. On this final layer, one of the things I want to do is let's double click this top layer 37, double click the FX box there. It'll pop up our menu here, and we're going to change the stroke. So if we wanted to, we can increase the stroke size, and we're going to go with inside. Let's start off with black. Actually, we're going to go lighter. So let's go with more of a nice silver. And I'm going to turn this off and on, and hopefully you guys can see this on the stream. If we turn the stroke off on that very top layer, it's those little white lines, and I'll zoom in on the work here. There we go. Turn it off, and it looks kind of flat. We turn it on. What it does is it's giving us kind of a fake light. So it just looks like the light is bouncing off the edges. And if you play around with the pixels, then you can increase and decrease this. So we do the outside, and you can also mess with the opacity on here. So if we come down to like 50%, it's more of a faint outline. 25%. And play around with the color too, because if, say, we're going to go with more of a darker, like more black, then we get kind of a dark outline. We increase the opacity, and it starts to show up and outline those numbers. And darker colors, you may end up, bringing that outline color down, but it gives us a nice line to it, adds to that 3D effect. I'm a little more prone and like to kind of see that silver effect, because it gives us a fake light kind of bouncing off of it effect for it. So I'm going to end up using, say, about 70% on our opacity. We've got our size at 2 and our color just towards the top of the grayscale here. Or you can pause it and actually, if you want that exact color, you can use the values on the right side, or the C9, C9, C9 for gray. So we did okay. So now we've got our 2018. Let's say that's exactly how we want it. If we want to clean things up, we can always, right click on that group and just see if this one allows. Right click on that group. Let's go ahead and select all these layers in this group. And when you right click on it, we're going to merge layers, and that's just going to combine them all into one. If you ever want to take something out of a group, you can always drag it down out of that folder, because these are kind of folders we really just don't need. Group, that. So we've got our 2018. This one that's hidden is just our other one that we're using. This one that turned out better. So we can go ahead and get rid of that one as well. So we've got our first layer, 2018. Now we've got, what I want to do is we can center this up. Next step is going to be, let's add a logo in here. Go open. We're working on an event for this weekend, more of a corporate event. And here is the logo they sent me. Luckily, it was a PNG. We didn't have to do too much to it. And if we want to use this in, say, our other design, then what we can do is just kind of open it up, grab this layer, or grab that layer, and we're going to hover over our other artwork and just drop it on. So it's definitely huge. So I'm using Control- on my keyboard just to make my canvas zoom out on my canvas, and then I can use that Control T to go into my transform tool. Now, when you do change the size of this with Photoshop Elements, all you have to do is grab a corner and start to drag it down, and it will maintain that aspect ratio, so it will look normal, just getting smaller. If you hold down the Shift key, what will happen is, let me first save this. And if you hold down the Shift key, it's going to allow you to go wider or taller. And then you'll kind of alter the way that design was meant to look. Now in Photoshop CC, it's just the opposite. You have to hold down Shift key in order to maintain the aspect or the ratio of it. Let's go to our logo, and we're going to adjust these. All right, and we're going to do the same thing with this one. If we want to give it a little slant here, we'll hit Control T to go into transform, hold down our Control key, and that will allow you to just maneuver one corner at a time. But you would have to do both if you want to give it a slant. Let's go and follow the same process here. So we've got that. This is already just a kind of a text, basically not a text, but an object. So we don't really have to go through the steps of creating, a simplified layer on this. But there are a couple things I want to do. I want to, again, go into my styles styles, and we're going to select our bevels options and our simple inner. Then once we have that selected, we'll go back to our layers, and our effects icon shows up. So we'll double click this, We're going to drop this down again back to 1. While we're here, let's go ahead and add a stroke to it. And if we want it to kind of look similar to the other one, we're going to go ahead and the stroke color, we're going to go with a dark gray. Maybe just a little bit lighter, let it, it's got color on it, pretty dark color. So this basically determines kind of our sides, what color our sides are going to be. And our stroke, we're going to drop down to 1 and put it on the outside. Now we're pretty much ready here. We can do exactly what we did before. Make sure we have our move tool selected. Click on our layer 2, hold down your Alt key, and start to add. As you can see, we're seeing the layers get built up here. So let's do, we're going to go back and delete these extra layers and see what we want to change. Just clean this up a little bit. Stick with outside. And let's see if it changes to black or darker. All right, same thing. Alt. So it gives us a little dimension here. And if you're working on a black background, you're going to want something that kind of gives you a little bit of the color contrast. So we could do the exact same thing with this. Delete those layers. And with our effects, we wanted something, you know, the lighter gray. We don't want it to match the gray of our letters here, because we are dealing with that as well. And it's gonna be too close. Let's drop our pixels down to 2. Hit OK. And let's duplicate again. Ooh. So how you guys doing? You guys ready for the weekend? Getting everything set for your events. So we've added some depth to this design. And remember, the more you lean this design, the more it's going to kind of give us a 3D effect. Like I said, this is just the kind of the cheater way of doing it, giving us just a perspective of it. So let's lean back a little bit. Stay. And duplicate. Make it a little smaller there. And again, as you change things, you're going to see different parts of the layer effects that we built. And so with that, I start to see those lines again. I'm going to go a little darker on this. Let's give it some shadowing here by changing your stroke on here. And then, again, duplicate it, see what it does. All right. So it looks a lot better that way. Might be a little too much. We'll take some of the layers out. And then that top layer, that's what we're going to play with and give it a nice outline. So if we wanted to do dark, we can change it to like inside, see what it looks like. See what, 1 pixel looks like. If we wanted to give it a little shine, a little lighting effect here. And let's try outside. Drop the opacity down. Opacity. Arjit chimed in. He's like, "Hey, Mike, would you some point consider doing a video on your live setup?" There is one video on our channel that kind of shows the components that I use in the main studio. I'm actually at the office right now, so it's the computer is definitely less powerful, and than in the studios. But yeah, definitely, it's something that I'm going to be doing a computer build here pretty soon, also for the kind of making a new mapping system for Grand VJ and Media Master. So we'll be talking about the components in that as well. Let's go a little bit darker gray on this. Help with that light. There we are. Sometimes just kind of going back and forth. And see what looks better. You can center this. I kind of like that. All right. So we've got this set up. And again, if we want to group these, I just select them all. We can hit Control G. And this will be our logo. Or if you're done making edits, you can just select all the layers and right click, go ahead and merge layers or flatten image. This folder. I'll recenter this. And now that this thing, it's actually just one layer, one of the things that we can do is, like, if we wanted to resize something, we can click on that layer 2018, hit Control T for transform, and adjust this as well. One of the things I want to do is I really want to get into giving you guys some tips and tricks on being able to kind of do 3D projections on the wall by using these design elements and seeing what they look like. Because, like, if, for example, like we just made kind of more of a 3D effect on this. One of the things we can always do, let's hit Enter to lock that in, is go to our background layer here, our black box. And if we take that out, you can see kind of what's taking place here. If we wanted to, now that we have these on here, if we wanted to, one of the things I'm gonna do is when I'm trying to figure out how it's gonna look maybe on a wall, sometimes I do kind of a new layer, and we're gonna make this, let's see, make this layer white, just to give us a little background. Because the effects themselves change a little bit when you have a background compared to being translucent. So now, like with our logo, we can add other effects onto this as well. So if we go into our effects and we're going to go styles. That. At this point, if we wanted to add another bevel to it, whatever it may be. Let's see. Sharp emboss. So this one I'm going to select our simple emboss, and then go back to our layers, make some adjustments to that. Zoom in for you guys so you can see it here. And we can drop down our pixels. You can also change the effect just by going either up or down. And see, I don't even like that, but we got the menu up here. So if we unselect it and we wanted to say, oh, let's see what drop shadow does, then we can, change this. We've got our let's see, let's go with darken our drop shadow, but I want to go smaller on the size. Here we can change our lighting angle, and distance is going to extend that off a little bit. Decrease our opacity. Basically, the drop shadow kind of is going to give it you're not going to notice the drop shadow on, say, a black background. And so it's got to have some kind of lighter background to it. But if it's one of those design elements, if you wanted to do kind of a soft light behind it, we'll talk about later of doing kind of a gossamer blur or something around the edges to make it to where there's not a harsh edge, but just a soft light towards the center. Then this is something that could really help out. So if we make our logo here, we'll back up. One of the things that we're able to do is we're going to turn off our background layers. And once we're done with this design, we can actually just save this. (2018) logo one as a PNG file. And we've done all the work. It's going to save it as one single file. We've got our original here. But if we open that one up, if we open up our PNG file, and desktop. Where did it decide to save it? Oh, there it is. 2018. Open. Then it just opened it up again. So now we have it as a PNG file, and this is something that you can just grab. If you've got another, if we've got, say, another file, see what this one is. So we just have a plain file here. We made one file for this. It's a PNG file. Grab your layer, bring it over to your other artwork, and drop it in. Then you can resize it. And then this is where if you add in, if you've got like a soft gray background, you can actually come in here and add in your drop shadow. There we are. To give it even more of that 3D effect. And, play around with these, see what looks the best. Noisy. go with this one. Back to our layers. We can open up that layer and adjust the size. And our distance. And just by doing that, we've created this kind of a three-dimensional text that we can actually project and or use for your company. You can do this with your company logos and stuff. Make some stuff that looks really, really cool. So that's kind of the cheater way of doing things. I also want to take a moment and actually show you guys something, just for fun. Let's save this one. JPEG. I want to show you guys some of the tools that you guys have access to with like Photoshop CC if you're using the more advanced version of this. So I'll close this all out. And open up our Photoshop file here. Now, luckily, I actually rendered a couple different 3D effects because the rendering it's horrendous, and depending on the system you're running. Right now, we're decoding video and everything, so we're maxing things out for this system at the same time. But almost any system will render 3D art, except that it's just a matter of how long it takes. And sometimes you can't touch your computer while it's doing it. So we're going to go ahead and just, let's open or create a new one. And I'll show you some of the subtle differences when it comes to how we doing. It looks like, okay, we're good on not dropping anything. Don't forget, guys, if you haven't already, enjoying the content, if you you would love to have you guys as subscribers. Help us hit our goal of 1,000 subscribers. We're pushing hard. We have had incredible support. We're gonna go through some of the people who have definitely stepped up. 1920 by 1080 and subscribed the past 24 hours alone to try and help us hit that goal before we get demonetized and some of our features taken away from our channel here. And we'll go and open up and find our logo. We'll do something very, very similar to the last one. The only difference is we're going to do all this stuff together, and then we can make some subtle changes. So we got our logo. We're going to open that up. Let's go ahead. Smaller. And I want to select this layer and just drag it into the project we're working on now. And close this out. All right. And zoom out a little bit. Make sure we got that layer, that logo layer selected. Name it logo. Control T and hold down your shift key in order to hold on to that aspect ratio there and keep it looking normal. So we've got our advanced, and then we want to add some text to this too. So we're going to do the same thing. Let's add, say about 50. We can select the text here. Now, the difference between coloring your text here and like with the other one is you can select your text, come up to the top where our box is. You don't want to use these. These are for our work that we're doing on the rest of the project. But with text in particular, then this, our options of fonts and everything pops up here. But we also have our font color here. So if we click on our color box, our picker, this box basically will appear. And if we come on to another part of the work, we can actually have it match that IP there. And hit Control T. Let's make this bigger. Again, this is a really good time to, if you need to, use your rulers. So if I wanted this to match sides, then I can drag these on here. And if you've got, some that you just don't need anymore, you can actually grab them, drag them back to the ruler. But you have to have your move tool here selected and get them out of the way. So with that here, select our 2018. And let's go ahead and make it bigger. Match it up. And I do want a little bit of space here because with 3DFX, it's going to have the extruded look. So we don't want it right next to each other. And move this. And now we're going to keep our background here. And something else. Let's go ahead and open up. And find, say like this. I got another file here, just that background. We didn't want to use the black background. We just wanted something a little bit more subtle. Then let's bring this layer into play. Drag it onto our work. It'd be way too big for this. Say no. As you can see, and let's make it smaller. And if we have a layer behind it that's black as well, then we can play with the opacity of that particular layer, this gray, and I can bring that down if I want it to be darker. But this will give us some nice contrast. Now here is the crazy thing. So you follow me on this one. So we've got our 2018, we've got our logo. We're going to go ahead and let's rasterize. We're going to convert our text, our 2018, by right-clicking on it and going to convert to a smart object. And with the logo, we can do the same thing if we want. Now, with these two as smart objects, what we're going to do is we're going to take this and do new 3D layer from file. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. It's going to make me combine these. So let's go ahead and combine 2018 and our logo together. And we can just merge these together. Let's make it into a smart object. And then right click on that layer. And we're going to go new 3D extrusion from selected layer here as our option. Here's the crazy part. And we'll see if everything crashes and the stream goes down. Because it takes up a lot of juice to do this. I appreciate you subscribing, Arjit. And Arjit, I hope I get your name right. All right. And yeah, I will be getting back with you about that case build. I just have to take a look at it. So our 3D extrusion. This is just kind of one of those plugins has popped up here. And here's just kind of the cool part. So we've got a lot of things, a lot of little details that we can cover. First off, you select things a little bit differently in this 3D menu. So if we click right on the logo itself, it will select the logo as far as our box. And there, off to the right side, you'll see our shape presets. You'll see like casting some of the options as far as like if we want to cast shadows or turn those on and off. So casting shadows, you can see right down here. Let's see if we do select this shadow that comes on these numbers here. If I deselect cast shadow, then it won't cast, this upper part doesn't cast a shadow on the lower part. But check this out. So now if we want to, we've got our effect or our look here. See there's a little eye, or basically infinite light, this little light icon. If you click on that, it's going to activate our controls for our lighting. So now we can control the lighting on this. And by moving this around, we're controlling our light source in our 3D atmosphere. And we can have the light come from the bottom. And it just affects the way the shadow is looking. So if you are doing 3D artwork, you're going to think about the perspective of possibly like the lighting in the room to make it look more realistic, where your lighting is going to be coming from, the perspective people how they're going to look at this, and just how big you want it to look. Now this is kind of our standard here, so let's go ahead and select our group, and it also has some, we also have some presets. Hey, Carlo, man, I appreciate it. Thanks for subscribing. Carlo Di Florio, thank you. And so then we can also select our different presets as well here. So if we change this up, remember these are presets so that we can control the way they're going to look later once we select kind of the overall effect that we want. And they've got some pretty extreme ones in here. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. So we're going to go with something a little bit more subtle. A little bit more plain. Let's go with just the, what's bevel with contour? Kind of like that. So the way it looks right now as it is, bevel with contours, it adds a bevel and gives us our 3D extruding. If we want to move, so first let's work on making this look the way we want it. So you just click on our logo to make sure we select it. And off to the right, we've got extrusion depth. Here we can just slide this down. And this is actually, this little slider is what controls how deep, I know it's sometimes hard to see, but how deep this extrusion is in the back, how deep this overall effect is. And then our next thing we want to do is control the way it looks as far as our effect that we just added, say on the front. So at the top, we've got mesh, which shows us what we've been working with the entire time. Our next one, this is going to allow us to kind of twist this image around and do those extreme kind of effects that I clicked on for a second there. And then the next one is our properties. And this is going to allow us to, control that bevel. So our bevel width here is 25%. We're going to start to drop this down, and you guys hopefully will be able to see the way it looks. We're going to just, as I change this, so I'm down to about 8%, but it gives them a softer look here. As you're working in this, you're going to probably experience some lag, just because especially that's why sometimes it's nice to be able to use the slider here, because it's re-rendering every time you go down a notch. So I think 10 is good on this. You can adjust the contour. So if you did straight, like it gives us a nice chiseled look, a 45-degree angle. This will give us kind of an indented look if we wanted to make it look like a kind of a plaque almost. Let's give us a nice soft edge here. So let's keep with our curved contour. And then you can also select whether that contour is on the front, on the back, or on both if you've got this thing angled a certain way. So we're going to go front. And now here's some other trickery. I like this. So if we click in the center, we've got our, we'll select our, click on the logo itself. We're, oh, excuse me, guys. So we're going to select our design, but come down towards, as we come down towards the bottom, we highlight this bottom bar here. And if you click on that bar, and as you move up and down, we can actually adjust the perspective that we're seeing this is basically in our camera. Off to the right side, we do the same thing, except we can turn it to the left and to the right. So if we wanted to do this, you can see what perspective you end up wanting here. And then we can go back to our lighting and adjust our lighting to cast the shadows that we want. And remember, full straight on lighting, like this is the spot coming straight down onto it. And while you're in your lighting off to the right side, you have some controls. So if you want to change the color of the light, you can. Give a red tone, but it's going to affect the overall way everything looks. Hit OK, and then you can control like the intensity and softness and stuff as well with our shadowing. So intensity, if we wanted to, I'm going to bump this down a little bit to say, I'll say 65. See how that looks. Maybe 70. So now we've altered that. We've changed the perspective of it. Once you hit render on it, which our render key is going to be right over here on the right side, you click this, it's going to take a while and it's going to, you know, bog your computer down for quite some time because it takes a lot of, and it'll just go, you'll see the boxes appear and everything as it does the rendering down. So I'm going to take, and we're going to just kind of close this out because just so we didn't have a system crash during the stream, I went ahead and rendered something up for you guys. And we're going to open that up. Any day, come on. Shouldn't have closed out Photoshop. Now it's going to say no. Howie, man, welcome to the stream. I appreciate you being here. And this video will be on video on demand, so you guys can always come back and reference it later as well. So. If there's certain text effects and stuff that you guys want to learn how to do, let me know. I know that I'm going to be doing probably I don't know, 4 or 5 streams in the next week with you guys on different effects. So we're going to be doing like how to make, you know, metallic gold lettering, how to make gold effects, silver effects. We'll do maybe some glitter text that you can use for your designs. Because there's a lot of little tricks and it's all kind of, it works on any of the formats. So it's something that everybody's going to be able to do. And it's always nice to have those tricks up your sleeve. So let's go ahead and open up. We're going to go open up one file here. Give us a background or let's do that one that we were using here. And I'm going to open up that rendered file. Again, I didn't know what I was going to use it for, so I ended up, you know, taking out the background, and we do it the exact same way. Once you're done with your 3D rendering and it pops up, then you can go to your layers box and turn off your background and save it as a PNG file. And I'll show you what that looks like. And here's our rendered file. So if we want to take this layer, if you guys want to get really fast at this, definitely look up, I'll try and put a link in the description of this video, Photoshop shortcuts. It is so nice when you end up being able to learn those. And here's our layers. Let's drag this in. Makes life a lot easier. All right, we can resize this. And now that we have it as a layer, let's see, let's make it look even better. Remember the last trick we did? Let's add some drop shadow. And to do that, this is a little different. I'm going to go back. With Photoshop CC, it's kind of a lot easier. Off to the right side of any layer, if you just double click, as long as it's not on the name of the layer, it'll pop up the layer styles menu and you can select drop shadow. And then click on drop shadow to go into our settings here. So we've got distance. We want to increase the distance. It's going to give us our perspective. We want to use global light, but we're going to change our direction. So our angle, I'm going to set. Let's go. All right, so we're going to go with like right around 136. Let's increase our distance. That'll give us a more of a drop shadow effect. And we're at 90% right now, and I'll paste it in. That just gives us a black, drop shadow. If we go down to like 58, it starts to lighten up and it looks a lot more like a drop shadow. Control your spread. As we look at it here, you can see we kind of created that 3D effect. And the obviously you can see the 3D effect as we have light bouncing off of things, and it's amazing the power that this program has. So is it worth it? Well, if you want to get into doing some of this kind of stuff, then yeah, it's going to help out a lot because it saves a ton of time with the presets it has. And we've just started to go into this. I can show you guys like what I ended up doing for their photo booth here. So we're doing a photo booth design. I took, their advanced logo, dropped a backdrop on, and put in, put it in the corner there. But it's different than, it gives a little dimension. It's a little bit different and unique from what they're probably used to. If it's dark like this and we want it, if the background is dark and we want it to really stand out still, then let's see if this is the file. This is the large file of the 3D. Yeah. So we could always take that rendering that we did. Let's do that. That's JPEG. If it's a dark file, then what I would suggest using is go into your effects, and one of the things is going to be our outer glow. So this outer glow here, we can select a light, almost white. And first we're going to go spread. and size. Size up, see what it does. So if we have our spread down to, say, 0 and our size has expanded, then we can go back up to our opacity and start to fade it out, bring it down, and that might give us just a little bit of glow on the outside to going to start to cover up your drop shadow though as well. But it will help with a little bit of an outline on it if it's a really dark background to make it stand out even more. Perfect. Awesome. Rich, cool. Hey, we can chat now. Good to have you on the stream, man. Welcome. Mr. Richie, Gina, hopefully you're still there. We got Howie here, and Arjit's still hanging out with us. Appreciate all of you guys for coming in. If you missed part of the live stream, don't worry about it, man. Just you can, in just a second, you can always rewind it and go back and check out some of the inner workings of Photoshop's elements in Photoshop CC. Like I said before, we're going to be doing a lot more tutorials on different effects that you can create in both of those programs for you guys in the next 2 weeks to keep things moving and keep interest up. We're fighting for a channel right now, everybody. So if you haven't already and you enjoyed the content, it helped you out, hit that subscribe button. That's what we're going for right now, man. We're trying to hit that 1,000 subscribers so that we can keep all of our YouTube features and stay up for our partnership with them. So it is much appreciated if you're able to do that, and if you haven't already. If you're already a subscriber and the video helped you out, hit that like button. Let me know. If you have questions, leave them in the comment section below, and check us out on Facebook because we got 2 groups. We got our Living Motion Monograms group and also our 1% Solution group, which is more geared. We always keep the conversation more geared towards performance-based stuff. Living Motion Monograms, we kind of keep it more tech-based and about projection and monograms and all that fun stuff. So if there's also if you guys are interested, if there's certain DJ equipment or computer stuff, like Arjit said, he wants to know about the streaming setup and what I end up using and everything. And so let's put those ideas down there. I'll start to get that stuff put together. It takes a while to kind of get everything in place just to make sure we can do it right. And certain videos obviously are going to be better as an upload because of the editing and time constraints. So, but I appreciate every single one of you for coming out. Baba's here hanging out with us. DJ Tundi. Is it Tundi or Tundi? I want to know that because I always see your name and it makes me wonder. Regardless, it's good to have you here. It sounds cool either way, but I hope I get it right, and I hope I learn that. I hope I learn that soon. And let's see, RG said he wants to definitely wants to know more about the text effects for sure. Want to create different logos for his Facebook page and other groups. Yeah, that's definitely the heads behind it, the idea behind it. So I think that's gonna wrap things up though, guys. Appreciate you coming out. Hope you had a blast, and we will definitely see you guys very, very soon on our next stream. So have a great day, everybody. I'll be posting what our next stream is going to be very, very shortly. Thanks for stopping by.